Hello and welcome to my video review for the Huawei P Smart. Just to let you know, I was sent this as a test for the Insiders Group and Huawei themselves, so I haven't actually paid for this phone, but I will try it and do an unbiased review nonetheless. So, P Smart. P stands for picture, in case you're curious or didn't know, and it's also known as the Enjoy 7S over in Asia. On first glance, you probably notice picking it up, the weight's reasonable, not too heavy, not too light, a little bit big if you've got little hands like me. I hold it a lot like that, or like that rather, a little bit top heavy, and the material's quite slidey almost. I've now got a cheap silicone cover on, and that's cured the problem. But it was a couple of times I had to catch the phone before it fell and smashed it into 1,000 pieces. But yeah, I think that's a small niggle really. First thing you probably notice scrolling through is that it's fast. It's got a Kirin 659 optical processor in it, and it pretty much handles anything you can throw at it. The only real lag I had was running on 4G. I suspect that's the network. Yeah, it's not the phone. Although Huawei do put their own skin over Android, the MUI, and they do have their own versions like contacts, gallery, that sort of thing. There's no real bloatware, I've noticed. Or either that, or they do, but the processor can handle it, which is great. I hate slow phones that are loaded down with rubbish you don't want. So, well done guys, well done indeed. So 3 gig of RAM, which obviously contributes to the fast running. There's 32 gig of ROM in there, internal memory, but you can also upgrade up to 256 in the SD micro slot, so you're never going to run out of space on this, that's fine. What else? Sorry, I've lost my thread for a minute. Yes, sorry, screen. Yes, the screen. Obviously, that's the first thing you can notice when you boot it up. Nice and clear. It's an IPS LCD screen, 5.65 inches. Yeah, clear and quite bright as well. Again, no problems with, even outside, I didn't really have to turn it up all the way. Not that we get many sunny days in England, but I'm sure you appreciate that. So that's good. The camera, 13.2 and 2 megapixel lenses. I didn't really notice too much difference, any real advantage with the second lens, but I'll probably go into that a bit more later. So the other thing I'll just show you on the lock screen is you get a little pedometer, which you can turn off if you don't want it, but I thought that was quite a nice thing. And although you can't see it at the moment, there is a notification LED up here, changes different colours, whether it's charging on battery, if you've got emails in, that sort of thing. So that's quite good. General settings, I'll just unlock that again. Yes, there we go. General settings, so you've got things like the one-handed UI, which is pretty good. Accessibility, it's in. Yeah, that's it, the colouring version. I'll show you. I couldn't get on with this. I prefer it like this with white text on a black background. When you scroll through, see you get that flash all the time. It obviously boots up like normally and then inverts the colour. And unfortunately that drove me crazy, so I had to turn it back off again, which is what I'm just about to do. Go away. I mean, in fairness, it does say it's experimental, but yeah, no good for me, unfortunately. There is also somewhere under here, like simple mode, and easy mode, if you've got people that aren't that technically inclined. Again, that's fine, no problem at all with that. Other settings I like on the home screen is if you go into there, you can loop the home screen, so you don't just have to scroll all the way to the end and then all the way back again. It just loops round and round and round. Brilliant idea. And you can turn the Google feed off. Brilliant. That drove me crazy on my last phone. I couldn't get rid of it. It was a Google phone. I shall not name it yet. And oh yeah, the home layout. You can have the icons. You can have 4x6, 5x6, or 5x5. Again, brilliant. I like that idea. There we go. So yes, a few nice things there. The smart switch works fine, no problem. I made a mistake in my last video. You do have to have the 4G and the Wi-Fi on, which I suppose makes sense. But yeah, no problem. The signal's a bit shaky upstairs. It switched straight over to 4G, and you can set up notifications. It will warn you A, when it switches over, and B, how much data you're using, so you don't go over your plan. So yes, brilliant in that respect. What else? Yes, so obviously it's a phone. You want it to make phone calls. Phone calls, no problem. Pretty standard fare. Excuse me. And they were clear. There was one call I had to my mum, and I think it's her landline. It's very fuzzy and rubbish. Apart from that, no problem. Again, volume, brilliant. I need to have it on about halfway, and that was loud enough. Speakerphone, again, no problem at all. As a side for the volume, sorry, the music player. I've got Amazon Music Player and that. I was upstairs decorating. Again, I only really had to have that on halfway to 2/3, and that was plenty loud enough. The other mode it has is if I just put this back in lock. So yeah, if you cover that, it will come up and whinge at you. There you go, yeah. So it's got a little sensor. It's got a pocket mode, so it will turn up the volume if it's, well, naturally in your pocket or in the bottom of your bag like mine always is, and then I miss the phone call because I can't hear it, so it's a great idea. Messaging is pretty standard, it's what you'd expect, and emails, no problem there. Being Android, you can switch to Gboard, which I tend to do because it gives me the Gaelic languages, but you know, you can either type normally or use swipe. Pretty standard, what you'd expect. So on to that, really, I suppose, is the camera. So you've got a 13 and a 2 megapixel lens, and the LED flash. Flash is nice and bright. I didn't really notice any difference in the photos I took compared to sort of ones I took on my 5X and my husband's 7S. The resolution was about the same. All I'd say is the colours were perhaps a bit more muted. They weren't as bright. But I didn't really notice any sort of advantage with having the second lens. Perhaps it was just the photos I was taking. I was doing more landscapes, and I borrowed my mother-in-law's dogs for some photo shoots. But you know, they were fine for a budget to mid-range phone. No problem at all. Sorry, I lost my thread there for a minute. Yeah, so it's fine. Oh, using the camera, again, it's pretty standard stuff. I'll show you there. So the only thing I found was that when you press like for the autofocus, no, I don't want to do that. Yeah, there we go. I don't know, it doesn't seem that tactile. It just doesn't seem to give you a very good indication that it's actually... Oh, no, it's doing it now. When I was out in the garden, it just didn't seem to sort of quite do it. Sorry, that's a really poor explanation. Almost like it wasn't picking up properly. But yeah, apart from that, it's standard. The only other problems I found were low light. They were, you know, it was terrible in low light, twilight, you know, inside in the dark. But that's quite standard a lot of phones, so I can't really complain too much about that. Videos, again, fine. You can change the resolutions. I do HD, I believe. Might do 4K, but then again, like I said, mid-range phone. You can't expect too much. So apps, runs all the apps fine. You've got widescreen mode, which I'll see if I can boot something up. Games, free, will it do it? Yeah, there you go, the full screen display. So you can pop that. It warns you, you just go okay. There you go. So it's booted that up in full screen. I didn't really need to use it that much personally, but I think it is a nice idea. And again, it did seem to work with everything, although it says it can cause problems. It worked with iPlayer, YouTube, Amazon, you know, all the games I've got. Don't particularly play too many high-end games, but I did try out a couple of demos, and again, there was no problems with that at all. It ran fine. So yeah, nice inclusion, I think that just gives you that little bit extra. Apart from that, I was just thinking, oh yes, battery, it's got a 3000 milliampere hour battery, and it was fine for a couple of days, sort of light to medium use. I did get stuck at home one day, I had to wait in for some builders, and my Wi-Fi went down at the same time, so I had to run it on 4G, and I was bored out my head, so I was pretty much on it all day, and it only lasted about a day. But again, I don't think that's too bad, really. There's no fast charge, it's a bit of a downside, and the ports are micro SD. No, it's not a micro SD, sorry, it's a micro USB. And that's just, it is a bit fiddly. Even though it couldn't take advantage of the fast charge, I think it still would have been nice if they put a USB-C connector on it. But hey, you can't have everything. But I tend to charge my phone overnight, so I had no real problems with that. Just an aside, sorry, I did forget earlier about the Wi-Fi, thinking about only being a slower speed. The Wi-Fi is only single band, so you can only join it on 2.4. Would have just been nice to have the option of dual band, I think. But again, I've had no real problems with it. So I think that really is about it. You know, I did an unboxing video, but you can see you get all the standard gubbins in the box that you normally would. you know, on reflection, I think it's a very good value phone. And I think most reviews will say that if you look them up. I hadn't really known too much about Huawei, so I'm quite glad I got sent one to test. I'm really impressed with them. I would certainly consider them, you know, amongst sort of Google and Samsung, and maybe look at the higher end ones. And they may even be better. You know, who knows? Maybe I'll get sent one of those to try out. But yes, so sorry. In conclusion, I'm now rambling on. Finger marks. Yeah, go for it. If you want to do it, get one, get one. I think they're very good. Or, you know, try one. You know, see if you can borrow a mate's or get a trial from a shop or something. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. So, thank you for bearing with me. I hope I didn't ramble on too much and go and nah too much, which I know I'm terrible at. And hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Thank you. Bye.